Hello and welcome everyone to the ISCA Super Cup Series here on Thursday nights. Definitely excited to be here at Richmond Raceway as we tackle the O'Reilly Auto Parts 250. So that is 250 laps at this, of course, short track. I do believe this is about a 3/4 of a mile racetrack, so definitely short track for sure. But a lot of times it doesn't race like that. This is a D-shaped oval that, of course, is quite quick, especially on the front stretch. These drivers are going to have to be really careful when it comes to getting onto the throttle here tonight because you definitely could end up spinning it. You definitely do not want to treat that gas pedal like it is an on and off switch. Of course, so we definitely appreciate everybody joining us. Of course, I also want to wish Big Al well. Hopefully he's feeling better. I know I was expecting him to be here tonight, but I have heard that I do believe he is still recovering from whatever ails him. I do wish that he gets better, and I pray. I hope that everybody will give him your prayers. That way he will maybe get better. Of course, qualifying is underway at the moment. Let's take a quick look at the race facts to see exactly what we have in store for us here this lovely Thursday night. And as you can see, 250 laps here at Richmond Raceway. The action track is what it's called. Stages are 50 and 115. And of course, so that means the cautions will come out about 50 to 51, 15 to 116. And of course, the race will end on 150 going to 150, or 251, I should say. 5 sets of tires, going to actually be, I do believe, 4 actually in the pits. Fuel window is quite long here tonight. I don't believe fuel is really going to be much of a concern considering these guys can make it 128 laps. It's quite a long run. Definitely, we'll have to wait and see how that all plays out. I do believe we'll probably see some cautions that'll kind of split that up to where we probably won't have to worry too much about fuel. I think the majority of these drivers are not really going to be concerned by it. I think it's all going to be about those tires. So we'll have to see how that kind of works out. Who has the long run setup? I think that's going to be really the main thing you're going to want to see here tonight. We'll take a quick look at the standings here coming into tonight's race. Of course, Patrick Gitter, top of the board in the Cup Series points, which, of course, I do believe follows a 12-week schedule. And I do believe we are at the moment, if I'm not mistaken, on week number 7, I think. Yes, week 7 at the moment. And of course, Brandon Passalacqua sits in second place at the moment. He's been very consistent. Has not won a race during the Cup Series, the 12-race season. Of course, Brian Johnson also has not won a race. Both of these drivers, second and third, have just been very consistent. Matt DeCiani has not been here the last couple of races, but he does have the most wins so far in the Cup Series points at 3 right now. Of course, hopefully I don't see him actually here tonight. I hope everything's okay with him. He's actually missed, I do believe, the last 2 races, and this would, including this one, would be 3. So do hope everything is going well with him. We wish him whatever is going on to be definitely fixed and worked out, and he'll be back in competition. Of course, Josh Schaffner, he's in 5th place in the points. Kenny Powell sits in 6th. Shane Parrish in 7th. He's been really, really consistent. 8th place, Greg Wachinski. 9th, Randy Belk. He's a relative newcomer, or actually, I think he raced in this series a long time ago, but now has actually made a return, if I'm not mistaken. If I'm wrong, I'm definitely will get the correction I need. Of course, 10th place, Frank Flores. Take a quick gander at the Super Cup points at the moment. Brandon Passalacqua, of course, he has been the one to beat, really, when it comes to the Super Cup points. He has not won a whole lot of races, but he's been just so consistent. At this series, the Super Cup points, of course, actually follows the 36-week race schedule. I do believe the actual NASCAR Cup Series follows. So a lot more races involved in this one, and he has just been really, really consistent. 14 top 5s. Of course, a lot of playoff points he's been getting, 2 wins. Of course, he's got about a 56-point lead over Brian Johnson. Johnson's been doing almost just as good as Passalacqua. Of course, Josh Schaffner, he's got 3 wins, has not been quite as consistent, though. He's had some races that have not gone his way. Of course, 4th place, Kenny Powell. 5th place, Patrick Gitter, who has the most wins out of the Super Cup Series points. 5 at the moment, and 13 top 5s. He is shooting up these point standings. I do believe last week, if I'm not mistaken, at Pocono, I think that he had about, or he was at 9th, I think, in the points or so. but he has now moved up to 5th, so he is moving up very, very quickly. 6th place, Matt DeCiani. As I mentioned, he has not been here. 7th, Greg Wachinski, Shane Parrish 8th, Scott Naslin 9th, and Chris Johnson in 10th. Of course, we have about 20 seconds left in qualifying. I think now is a good time to go ahead and take a step away. We'll go ahead and play our national anthem, and we'll be right back.
Race fans, it is time for those most famous words in motorsports.
Driver, start your engine!
Hey everybody, my name is Warren Maddox. I am the president of Ultimate Experience Outdoors. Our mission, we are dedicated to taking veterans, first responders, youth, and Gold Star family members on outdoor excursions across the country.
Support for our mission has many forms, from camp cooks to the great storytellers, some buddies with the band, maybe you just want to build a campfire and sit around and listen. Nothing goes unnoticed.
Camaraderie is reborn, the acceptance among the men and women that took an oath.
Whether it was decades ago or recently renewed, but never forgotten.
If you feel like you could help us, please visit our website, www.uxonation.org.
There, you can register to hunt, sign up to sponsor an event, or even donate to us so we can continue to execute our mission.
Oh my gosh, I feel comfortable, bro. We get a hug, man. What have you done, Jim?
We need your help to hold the line once again.
It's O-Rewards Member Appreciation Month at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Stop in today and check out store-wide savings, plus earn double points on over 225 items. It's our way of saying thank you. If you're not already a member, sign up today during O-Rewards Member Appreciation Month. It's fast, easy, and free. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better prices every day.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Alrighty, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, as we're going to go ahead and run down through the starting grid here in the ISCA race and Richmond Raceway. Of course, Patrick Gitter going to be starting on the pole with a 22.528 here. Brian Johnson not far back, only separated, I do believe, by about 600 or 700 of course, in second place. Third place going to be Brandon Pasalacqua. Fourth place, Shane Parrish. Fifth place going to be Chris Johnson. Josh Schaffner starts in sixth. Seventh place, Cody Colley. Kendall Levron starts eighth place. Ninth place, Mark Sanchez. And, of course, rounding out the top 10 is J.C. Evans. 11th place, going to be Randy Belk. Frank Flores starting in 12th place. 13th, Kenny Powell. Randy Mullen starts 14th. 15th, Greg Carr. Greg Wachinski starts in 16th, so looks like row 8 going to be dominated by the Gregs. 17th, Darren Mullins. Al Kozlowski starts in 18th. 19th, Paul Olson. Kevin Zaziak in 20th, I should say. And I do believe that actually is, 23rd is going to be Greg Newsom. So I do apologize. I had a little bit of a technical difficulty there just for a second. We are rolling, though, getting ready to get this thing underway. I do believe the top line did not get going. And, of course, looks like Brian Johnson just now getting the engine fired there and moving up to his rightful place on the outside pole. It's going to be an interesting race here tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Long race. Lap times around this place about 22 and a half, I'd say, second laps. We'll probably see fall off go up into the 23s, possibly even into 24-second laps. But definitely going to be a long race. Course stages, as I mentioned, going to be 50 and 115 as we wait for the pace car to dip off pit road. Of course, at short tracks, you usually see 2 pace laps before the green flag actually flies. So we're going to have one more circuit around this place for these guys to get themselves hyped up and ready for some short track action. Definitely excited myself. I think we're probably going to end up seeing some guys having maybe some problems out here on the racetrack, some beating and banging. This is the kind of racing you see at a track like Richmond. Very difficult to pass. I think for the most part, most drivers are going to be running on the bottom groove. But this track is known for the ability, or for drivers to have the ability to run both grooves. We'll have to see if that is going to be the case here, as it looks like the green flag comes out for the first time here at Richmond Raceway. Patrick Gitter, of course, able to get up and underway, but it looks like Brian Johnson challenging already for the lead into turn 1 and 2. Side by side already, as he still is not giving up. A drag race into turn number 3. As it still is underway. Brian Johnson desperate to try to take this lead early as we complete lap number 1. And it looks like Johnson finally going to slide back behind Patrick Gitter. He tried his best, but Gitter was not going to let him have that position. What a effort for Johnson. Of course, Brandon Pastelacqua right there behind him, trying to see what he can do. You also see Josh Schaffner really putting a lot of pressure on Chris Johnson in that 5th place position. Of course, for the most part, single file throughout the top 10 at the moment. So I think a lot of drivers kind of setting themselves up for the long haul. Looks like Chris Johnson definitely able to hold off Josh Schaffner. Now starting to catch up to the rear end of the 66 of Shane Parrish. Very close racing right now. So far, everyone not falling off too much. Looks like for the most part, everybody fairly equal when it comes to their lap times. You do see Randy Belk trying to hold off Greg Wachinski. Of course, Kenny Powell and Greg, always drivers that seem to never can stay away from one another, it seems to be. They are on the same team, but a lot of times they race each other very, very hard. Glad to see Ryan Strunk back in competition here in the ISCA. I know for a little bit there, I do believe he was under suspension. Glad to see him back. And I actually know he was actually now off of probation So definitely glad to see that. We'll have to see. A lot of guys were saying, "Uh-oh, he's off for probation." That means he doesn't have to really worry about too much. As you see, of course, Alexander Carr now underneath the 24 of Kenny Powell. Almost a 3-wide scenario here as Ryan Strunk thinks better of it. Powell now on the top side, trying to hold off the 18 of Alexander Carr. Looks like he's able to defend and holds on, I do believe, to the 14th position. And here comes Ryan Strunk on the high side of the 18. Haven't seen any cautions yet. No big accidents quite yet. Big slide there for Alexander Carr. He's going to have to give up the position. I do believe that was 15th to Ryan Strunk. Also see, I do believe Frank Flores trying to hold off Randy Mullins. Patrick Gitter, though, still in the lead of this race. Has about a 0.3 of a second lead on Brian Johnson. He's led every lap thus far here as we now complete lap number 11, starting lap 12. Downforce going to be a big deal at this racetrack. As you can see, the spoilers not very tall at a racetrack like this, but still nonetheless, dirty air is going to be a big deal. And I do believe Brian Johnson finds himself in that dirty air, and that's going to make it very difficult for these drivers to get grip. Person that has the best grip through these corners is Patrick Gitter at the moment. And of course, a lot of times when you're in that dirty air, it also causes you to wear the tires a little bit more prematurely. And look at that. I mean, it's almost like these guys are following, I don't know, they are so equal with the way they're driving these cars. You can see the spacing of each individual driver is almost pretty much exactly the same. Really good qualifying effort and race so far for Mark Sanchez. He's right now sitting in the 8th place position, right behind Kendall LeBron. I know LeBron known for having some bad luck a lot of times in these ISCA races. But it looks like LeBron holding on to it well right now. About 2 seconds that he has up to the lead right now. But Patrick Gitter, the winningest driver so far in the Super Cup Series points this season, is now up in the lead. Whenever you see this 21 up in front, it is very difficult to wrangle that from him. Taking a look at lap times right now. For the most part, everyone in the 23.3 range. We do have some drivers that are actually turning faster laps than that. Kendall LeBron, last time by, actually turned the fastest lap that last time by, 23.139. Let's see what his lap time looks like this time by. And it looks like he kind of goes back to the norm of what everyone else is hitting. So far, I haven't seen a ton of fall off from all these drivers, I do believe. Looks like we're going to be starting lap 19 now. So definitely, I mean, these guys are, I'd say, being fairly easy on one another. We do have a pass going on. Looks like Brandon Pasalacqua challenged by Shane Parrish. Parrish now moves up to the 3rd place position. This is going to be a good track, I think, for Shane Parrish. Parrish has been all season long just so consistent. He has been really, I think, the strongest driver on long runs in the ISCA field. So I do suspect that he possibly could come up here and even challenge Patrick Gitter. Eventually, I know for a fact that 66 is going to end up in victory lane. Let's take a ride on board here with the 66 of Shane Parrish. And you can see right here, very smooth wheel inputs. Most of the time, this driver does not set a wheel wrong. You can just see that it's all about his inputs. He's not really pushing very hard. I will tell you also, right in front of him, he does have a very good view of the battle possibly for the lead as Brian Johnson starting to put some pretty big pressure on Patrick Gitter here. So I talked about clean air being being an advantage at a track like this. Could it be a disadvantage? Could Patrick possibly be burning his tires up a little bit more than he possibly wants? Could that setup be built for dirty air? We will definitely find out. As look at Shane Parrish go, driving himself right up to the back bumper of the 4 car. And for the most part, everybody where they started, they still pretty much run, except for Shane Parrish. He has been really the one that has been making the most moves so far here tonight. See a new paint scheme from the 99 of Chris Johnson in an Xfinity paint scheme. Used to seeing him in that bluish Southern spiral pipe. I do believe he still does have the spiral pipe logo on the front nose. But digging the new look. Has a little bit of a red and black scheme going on and white. Are starting to see some gaps forming in the on the racetrack. Of course, see, I do believe behind Randy Mullins, who's now up in 10th. See, quite a gap there. And of course, that gap, I do believe, here comes Randy Mullins actually going to be making the pass on J.C. Evans. Mullins makes the pass look fairly easy. Now moves himself up to the 9th spot. And of course, that 11th place driver is actually Cody Colley. And of course, he's about a little over 2 seconds back. So we do have quite a dramatic battle going on further back. As you can see, we're watching right now Greg Carr, currently in 19th position, started in the 15th spot. He's currently battling with Frank Flores. Behind him, Kevin Zaziak and Al Kozlowski doing battle here on lap 28. And here comes Carr to the inside of the 8 of Frank Flores. He's also see ahead of them Greg Wachinski getting passed, I do believe, by the 64. And haven't seen that 64 in competition in quite some time. Of course, that being Darren Mullins. Mullins now all over the back of the 18 machine of Alexander Carr. Alexander Carr, of course, started, I do believe, closer to the top 10. Also looking a little bit to the front here. I do believe we see some battling. Randy Mullins taking over Mark Sanchez's spot. Now moves up to the 8th place position. Randy Mullins well on his way towards the front, it does appear, as he has got himself a fast 54 right now. So he's going to be trying his best to see if he can't possibly catch up to the 28 of Kendall LeBron, who holds 7th right now. Brandon Pasalacqua has lost a couple spots. Of course, we saw him get passed by Shane Parrish. Since Shane Parrish has passed Pasalacqua, Pasalacqua has actually fallen back to now 6th place. Has just gotten passed by Josh Schaffner. Also, Shane Parrish has gotten by Brian Johnson. Now Brian Johnson under fire from Chris Johnson. So it looks like definitely some of these drivers not doing as well as they were earlier. Maybe the long runs not really benefiting some of these drivers. I'll tell you what, Shane Parrish, I talked about him possibly having something to maybe challenge our leader, Patrick Gitter. I think that might be coming to fruition. As you see, Parrish is starting to really knock on the back door of Gitter. And you can see Parrish, I'm telling you, this guy has got such a good long run. No matter what setup I think he's running, I think he's always just so smooth. Paul Olson, of course, on the bottom of the track in the on the apron there. A lot of drivers in the next 15 laps. Caution's going to be coming out. A lot of drivers are going to be probably making adjustments to their race cars to try to keep up with, of course, the long run. Try to keep up as well with the ever-changing track. Taking a look at the temperature right now. Track temperature is 126 degrees. Quite hot. Quite hot here in Richmond, Virginia. That's Patrick Gitter trying to hold on to the lead. Can Shane Parrish wrangle it from him? As you see the 5, Greg Wyszynski also have an issue. Greg Wyszynski going to be trying to see if he can keep from going a lap down. Trying to see if we can find out what happened here to Wyszynski. Oh, Wyszynski, this is exactly what happened. Huge hit on the outside wall on the backstretch. Let's see. Let's watch this one more time. Wyszynski battling with Greg Carr, I do believe. Wyszynski just gets loose right in front of Greg Carr. Carr misses it. Great job for Carr to be able to miss that. Zaziak, almost gets into the 5. Of course, the 5, huge hit on that wall. That's probably why he thought he think he's going to go a lap down here because of probably a lot of damage on that right front. Also, it looks like we saw a pass for the lead. We're going to take a look and find, we're going to see if we can't watch this battle for the lead. You see Greg Wyszynski having his issues right in front of the leaders. I think Patrick Gitter might have saw that, got a little spooked. So that is when Shane Parrish pounced on the lead position. And it's now started to set sail. Biggest lead I think we've had all night long. He's now out to 0.8 of a second as we're on lap 42, coming to 43. 8 laps to go in stage 1 here. Watch Chris Johnson. Johnson is looking really good right now. I suspect he's got a podium machine. That car is looking very fast at the moment. Of course, I do want to mention the 127 of Greg Newsom has also gone a lap down here. And let's see, can Chris Johnson get another point by trying to get by Patrick Gitter? Do also want to mention that Kendall LeVron has moved up into 5th, has gotten by Josh Schaffner. So LeVron definitely moving in the right direction. He slides down underneath the 127. Of course, it says 23, but I do believe that is the 127 there of Greg Newsom. Another driver that's starting to move forward quite substantially, of course, has been moving forward all race, has been Randy Mullins. Randy Mullins now on pretty much the back door of Brandon Pasalacqua. Can he maybe get another point here? I know Randy Mullins has been struggling somewhat over the last few races. Has not been a race, you know, a lot of times he comes into these races with race-winning speed, but haven't really seen that from Randy Mullins here lately. As we now come to 5 laps to go here in stage 1, Shane Parrish 1.3 seconds is his lead. He is out to a large lead right now. Large and in charge is the 66. Could this be the race that driver wins? I've been saying it for so long that Shane Parrish is bound to win one of these races at some point. Here comes Chris Johnson. He's putting a lot of pressure on the 21. I think Patrick Gitter might be struggling a little bit here on the longer runs. And I think Chris Johnson's just starting to hit his stride. You see, look at how good he is through the middle of the corner and on exit. Patrick Gitter, you could tell, just not handling is what we're not used to seeing Patrick Gitter struggle, especially at a racetrack like this. I know we've seen him struggle at road courses, but not at a track like this. It looks like Chris Johnson, I mean, he has just got a lot of speed, looking very impressive right now, especially now 49 laps into this run. Looking at lap times, very, very quick. Of course, fastest on the racetrack, though, is Shane Parrish. He's over a tenth faster than the rest of the field, as I do believe white flag for stage 1 is out. And I do believe Shane Parrish is going to get ready to cross the line here in just a moment. All these drivers trying to stay on the lead lap, including, I do believe, Frank Flores. And this should be, yep, caution is out. Stage 1 is over. Shane Parrish, your stage 1 winner. Patrick Gitter, of course, second place. Third place, Chris Johnson. Brian Johnson in fourth. Kendall LeVron fifth. Josh Schaffner sixth. Brandon Pasalacqua in seventh. Randy Mullins is in 8th. J.C. Evans, 9th place. Cody Colley gets a 10th place there. Going to be some stage points for all these drivers here. With that, we'll go ahead and take a brief step away. We'll be right back. We'll talk to Shane Parrish, our stage 1 winner.
Hey everybody, my name is Warren Maddox. I am the president of Ultimate Experience Outdoors. Our mission, we are dedicated to taking veterans, first responders, youth, and Gold Star family members on outdoor excursions across the country.
Support for our mission has many forms. From camp cooks to the great storytellers, some buddies with the band, maybe you just want to build a campfire and sit around and listen. Nothing goes unnoticed.
Camaraderie is reborn. The acceptance among the men and women that took an oath.
Whether it was decades ago or recently renewed, but never forgotten.
If you feel like you could help us, please visit our website, www.uxonation.org.
There, you can register to hunt, sign up to sponsor an event, or even donate to us so we can continue to execute our mission.
Oh my gosh, I feel comfortable, bro. We get a hug, man. What have you done, Jim?
We need your help to hold the line once again.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, we're going to be talking to our stage 1 winner, Shane Parrish. Man, you look like you just had a rocket ship on the long run. I mean, I've always said that you're the best on these long runs, Shane. How's that car feeling?
Well, I appreciate it. The car's feeling good, still a little loose. Really hot track temperatures out here. You just got to be so careful on throttle. Let the car come to you. Did some practicing in the iRaces this afternoon. Come across a couple of things and made a few adjustments on the car that really made it come alive from entry to center. Been helping me a lot. Shared it with my teammates. Hopefully some of them will catch on to it back there. But really having a good time up here running with Patrick and everybody. I know it's not over. Chris was coming there towards the end. You got a lot of fast guys back there, so anything can happen.
Yeah, definitely a lot of fast drivers in this thing. But, I mean, I've been saying it for a long time that you're going to win one of these races at some point. I'm hoping, as much as, a lot of other people, I'm sure, I'm biased. There's a lot of other people I want to see win. But I'll tell you, I think you're at number 1 on my list right now. I want you to win this race, and I hope you get it done, man. I mean, the confidence has got to be there. I mean, Patrick's not an easy guy to pass, but I'll tell you, it seems like you've got the long run speed.
Yeah, right now Patrick's really good at adjusting on his car. So are a lot of the other guys here in the league as they go. I'm not so much. You know, Patrick's a brand new father. Want to congratulate him. His wife had a baby here on Saturday, so a win here for him would be dramatic. You know, the first race out for him since the baby. So I know he's wanting to win pretty hard. So you know, if he does get the win, that'd be awesome. Being a brand new father, can't congratulate him and his family enough.
Well, isn't that awesome, man? That definitely a huge thing for him. Of course, I do believe pace car light's getting ready to go off, and definitely hope one of you two win. That would be really cool to see him back in victory lane. I know he's won a lot of races, though, Shane. You got to get yours someday. Who can we give a shout out to before we let you get back to it?
I just want to give a shout out to EPI and all the guys in the group for working on the set. Mr. Conti this week worked on it several times, even though as busy as he is and trying to win the championship and staying in the lead, working on it late at night. We appreciate everything and appreciate you guys up there in the booth. Keep it up, guys. Good job.
All right, Shane. Well, best of luck to you. We'll talk to you later.
Thank you.
Alrighty, that was Shane Parrish, winner of Stage 1. Let's see what he can do in Stage 2. As we're going to be going to lap 115 in this stage. And there it is. Green flag is out for the second time tonight. Let's see if this race for the stage will be just as clean. And, of course, look at that. You see Josh Schaubner trying to get underneath Brian Johnson, not able to get in. So a lot of drivers trying to jockey for position. Kenny Powell, actually, for the first time now up into the top 10. He's all over the back of J.C. Evans. Evans wiggles a little bit out of turn number 2. A little bit of a stack up. You see Ryan Strunk all the way back up to the back of the rear end of the 24. The 84 as well. I do believe Cody Colley trying to hold off Randy Mullins. No, actually, that is Darren Mullins in the 64. Oh, a blinking issue there for the 84. Also, Randy Belk. Oh, look at this. Big Sin problems for the 64. Big Sin. Shocked that was not a caution. Let's take another look back at this Big Sin. You see the 64 sends it in up into the 84. The 84 lucky he did not get turned there. That could have easily turned into a caution. Of course, Kenny Powell now up to 9th place, following in the tire tracks of Randy Mullins. Here comes Randy Mullins on Kendall LeVron. LeVron not giving an inch here. This is definitely a good battle here for this 7th place position. LeVron at the end of stage 1 ended up in 5th place. So watch out. This guy's got very good long run pace. Randy Mullins has been a hard charger early in the stages. I know Kenny Powell talked to him a little bit before the race. He said that he had only turned about 30 laps in preparation for tonight's event. But it looks like he's pretty well up to speed. Actually being held up somewhat by the 54 ahead of him. Oh, a little bit of a hit on the wall there from Ryan Strunk. Luckily, it was not a hard lick. We know how these cars, with their damage model, very much can wreck a car very easily at a track like this. See Randy Belk there trying to get underneath the 84, not quite able to get there. Been really liking what I'm seeing here from Chris Johnson. Oh, problems. Oh, no. Kendall LeVron has gotten creamed up into the wall by Randy Belk. I'm sorry, Randy Mullins. Randy Mullins just put Kendall up in the wall. Let's see exactly what happened here. I guarantee you Kendall is not going to be happy about that. We talk about bad luck. Let's see exactly what happened. Here comes Randy. Oh, yeah, that was definitely on the 54. And then the 24 comes in and finishes him off in a lot of ways, up into the outside wall. Oh, and then Frank Flores comes in and just creams Kendall. That is 3 solid hits for Kendall LeVron. I'm surprised that car is still even running. Let's take another look at that. And you see right here, Randy Mullins just sends it in on Kendall LeVron. I don't think it would have been near as bad as if Kenny Powell hadn't came in and got into Kendall's rear. And, of course, Frank Flores came in like just a rocket ship right into the 28. Man, that was just a bad wreck. A bad deal, bad luck for Kendall LeVron. Just want us to look at this one more time from Randy Mullins' perspective. If Kendall did come down, almost looked like a bit of net code. This is a tough accident to definitely, so I don't know if it was more of a racing deal. I don't think Randy Mullins did this on purpose in the slightest. I think it was just racing aggressively, and I just feel so bad for Kendall LeVron because he just cannot seem to get a good finish. I know last week at Pocono, on the last lap, final lap, him and Brian Johnson got together. Brian Johnson had gotten loose on the last lap out of turn 2, I do believe, at Pocono, and came down and got Kendall. So Kendall just cannot catch a break. And it's just unfortunate to see it. I mean, it just not really no fault of his own there, I don't believe. But we'll have to, of course, that's going to be up to the admins to figure out who was at fault in that wreck. But man, it's definitely a racing deal for sure. I don't want to try to take sides here. I just feel so bad for that 28. Had a really good run going here tonight. Sure, Randy Mullins feels bad all on his own as well. This is definitely going to change up a lot of the strategy here. Kendall LeVron now 2 laps down. More than likely has a meatball flag. This is that track that definitely provokes those short track tempers. And I'm sure some of those tempers are starting to flare here now. Usually when you see a caution at a track like Richmond, there's not going to be, I should say there's probably more on the horizon. Usually cautions breed cautions at racetracks like these. But here we go. Pace car lights are out. Getting ready to go back green once again. As we enter turn number 3. Of course, Shane Parrish going to be leading us to green once more. As here we go. Green flag back out in the air here at Richmond Raceway. Chris Johnson taking advantage of the restart. He sends it in. Almost has contact with the rear end of the 66. This is some close racing right here. You see Shane Parrish trying to run both lanes. He's almost running like he's at a super speedway here. Can Chris Johnson get the pass completed on Patrick Gitter? Gitter running the top line. Chris Johnson on the bottom. Also a little bit further back, I do believe I see Randy Mullins, Ryan Strunk, and Brandon Passalacqua battling for 6th, 7th, and 8th. We saw earlier in the race that the bottom line was the place to be when you were trying to make passes. So can Chris Johnson make this pass stick for this second spot? This would be really big for the 99. Very hard racing. It looks like Patrick Gitter is able to defend. And wow, definitely very quick to be able to defend against a pass like that on the outside. Of course, we do see some battling a little bit further back. We see Randy Mullins trying to hold off J.C. Evans. Looks like he's a little bit loose on the exit there. Josh Schaffner, really good run out of turn number 2, up to the back end of the 4 of Brian Johnson. Now on lap 75 of 250. Schaffner, always notoriously good at tracks like this that require good long run pace. I would not be surprised to see the 50 come up here and possibly challenge. But looks like he is being held up somewhat by Brian Johnson. Ryan Strunk, though, really great race thus far for him. Of course, Ryan Strunk, I do believe, started in 22nd. Look at that, 22nd. He is up 15 positions right now. That is incredible, to say the least. And I do believe he's got some more in him, as he is going to be trying to see if he can't challenge for 6th place. Josh Schaffner, I do believe, has just taken over the 4th place position. And there goes Strunk, now up to 6th place. Now going to be challenging for the top 5. Watch out for the 77. He's been on probation for the last few weeks, is now out of, I'd say, the jailhouse, and now is coming in to try to see if he can't possibly get him a top 5. Also, Darren Mullins has made his way up into the top 10, sits in 10th right now as we're on lap 80. Of course, I do believe we have about 45 laps. Actually, I do believe about 35 laps into the end of the stage. Shane Parrish, though, out front. Can't really do anything with him. He's got about an 0.8 of a second lead right now on Patrick Gitter. Chris Johnson still struggling to try to get around the 21. But now that Schaffner's up to 4th, I think these guys might have some company eventually. Let's see if he's able to possibly catch up to these guys. Let's take a look on board with Josh Schaffner. Taking a look through the cockpit camera. Of course, Schaffner started in 6th place. Now sits in 4th. And it looks like he is very much catching up to Chris Johnson and Patrick Gitter. Very smooth on his inputs. Josh Schaffner, another driver like Shane Parrish that has always been very good at saving tire, being good on the long runs. You can see he's sacrificing his entrance speed and gaining a lot of the speed back on exit here. I'm looking and don't see any shifting going on as well with Schaffner. I know some drivers at this track at Richmond have been shifting. I don't think he's one of them. For the most part, everybody fairly single file. Do see Randy Belt back here trying to challenge, I do believe, Cody Colley. The 33 definitely been trying to work his way into contention. I know that 33 always pretty quick as he wraps that car right around the bottom line. I always love that paint scheme. Very awesome looking paint scheme the 33 has there. J.C. Evans trying to make something happen on Randy Mullins to the inside. J.C. Evans trying to move up now to 8th place, and he's going to get the pass completed on the 54. Here comes Kenny Powell. I do believe Randy Mullins might be struggling now. He's looking very fast earlier in the race. Now finds himself on the receiving end of being passed. Well, Al Koslowski's in the booth with me. I didn't even realize, Al. I saw you were 11 laps down, decided to check Discord. Are you going to hang out with me for the rest of the race?
Yeah, I guess I am. I just took my gloves off and had to park it. That last incident had my steering wheel about 90 degrees, and I wasn't going to wreck anybody else. It was hard to handle.
Now, speaking of which, I know that was kind of a little bit of a controversial accident. What did you see from your eyes? I mean, I know saw Al, I do believe Kendall Ron and Randy Mullins get tangled up a little bit there.
All I've seen is I come out of 2, and it's a very hard transition right there. If you hit your brakes, you're going to slide up towards the wall. If you just tap your brakes and try to steer, you're going to push up towards the wall. So it's almost unavoidable. So, I mean, that's unfortunate that the banking right there is pretty hard.
Yeah, for sure. And we saw that was kind of like I mean, Kendall got kind of hit 3 different times. He hit the wall. He got hit by, Kenny Powell. Then he got hit by Frank Flores. And I think you got to see a lot of that.
I think I pushed Frank Flores into him. Frank checked up, and when I checked up, it just locked the brakes up, and I just hit his rear end and just pushed him right into it.
That was definitely a big crash. And surprised we haven't seen cautions kind of breed cautions. I mean, usually that's kind of what happens at a track like Richmond. What are some of the difficulties of this place? I mean, I know it's called the Action Track. It has somewhat of a super speedway vibe to it, even though, of course, it does require braking, but it is a fast track.
It's kind of a crazy track. You think you get some rhythm, and you do the same lap after lap after lap, run the same line, and the next time you run that lap, you'll push up towards the wall and clip the wall. And it doesn't take much to ruin your handling and then to clip that right front end and into the wall on exit. Or you get really loose on exit as well. The rear end wants to step out on you. These guys are doing pretty good for 25 laps. I am very curious to see what 30 laps are going to do. The ones that will prevail are going to be the ones that are able to save their tires. I tried that, dropping to the back of the pack and just saving my tires and then picking them off one by one or waiting for the accident instead of being involved in it. And these guys seem to have either we all got a fixed setup here or everybody's kind of competitive on the setup.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely agree. It seems like some drivers are better, though, on the longer run. I mean, we saw in stage number 1, we saw pretty much an entire stage go by green. So we definitely got to see what a 50-lap run would look like. And Shane Parrish definitely seems like he's the top of the field when it comes to long runs. I mean, he started, I do believe, I have to check. But I do believe, yeah, he started back in 4th place. So, I mean, and he's up to 1st. He was able to drive up there and pass by Patrick Gitter. I mean, that's not an easy thing to do.
Yeah, unfortunately, I was way in the back. I didn't get to see that pass. But you talking about Shane. Shane's a really good driver at some of these short tracks, and I expect nothing but the best.
He's always really good on the long run. I think he's proved that time and time again, and has not. I mean, he hasn't been able to actually win a race in the ISCA, and I think that's what's the most shocking thing about his performances that we've seen and the results that he's gotten. He's gotten a whole lot of second-place finishes, but never has won, and that is just it's kind of crazy to me. I think that he's bound to get one at some point.
Well, he's got pretty good distance between him and second place here, but all it takes is one good caution to seal that back up together. I don't know. I mean, it's hard to tell. I'd like to say, Shane's got this thing sealed up, but one, like I said before, one comfortable steering wheel, and he's in the wall, and his race is ruined. So it does look like second place is catching him now.
Yeah, this is definitely not the track I think you want to try to pull away, and I think that maybe Shane has fallen victim to maybe hurting his tires a little bit. We do have quite a battle starting to progress here for that, I do believe, 6th place position. Brandon Pasalacqua starting to challenge the 77 of Ryan Strunk. Now, Strunk has been really good on this short run, but I think he might be starting to struggle a little bit as this run goes on. We also see, I do believe, Kenny Powell just had a little bit of a moment. Powell just got a little bit loose.
Steering problems. Yeah, he's got steering problems as well. He was involved in that wreck. He's just trying to toughen it up. He came through the field on fresh tires like a Superman, and now they're starting to balance out. These guys are, and right now they've got about 80% of their tires left. I mean, some of these guys may have less than that, depends on how they're driving it. But the tires are one thing. It's the brakes that are heating up. That's another thing that's causing problems here.
Yeah, that's not something I really even considered, the brakes heating up and causing issues. So is that something that you noticed that was kind of affecting you and other drivers?
Yeah, I had to adjust several times during this race. No shifting. I highly doubt you'll see anybody in here shifting. Look at Brandon Pasalacqua. He pushed it in, and he's going to push up. He's trying to get past Ryan Strunk, and Ryan is running a great race.
He definitely is. I mean, Ryan Strunk, I do believe, started back in 22nd. Al, I mean, that's a whoa. I mean, that's a good little race right now. I mean, for him to be up in 6th right now. A little bit of a loose condition there off of turn 2. I do believe Brandon's going to get a little tired of this, though. And it's also backing up some of these guys as well, or I should say having somewhat of an accordion effect. You see J.C. Evans and Randy Mullen are right there as well, and J.C. having a really good race tonight as well.
Yeah, sometimes this kind of an activity right here, it wears your tires up more than if you were running side by side, because you just are trying to, you got to be really patient, because if you get sick of following the leader here, you try to dive it in, you're going to slide into that car on the high line if you take the low line, or you're going to eat your tires up trying to go the high line around them. And it looks like Pasalacqua is right there. If he can make this pass, throttle up, and you got to be very patient on the throttle. You don't want to really slam the gas on the exit, otherwise that thing's going to come around on you. But he's got Strunk on the outside, but Strunk is used to being on the outside, so he's not really stressed too much about that.
Yeah, the outside definitely a very good defensive line. And the thing about it is Richmond's definitely one of those tracks that's very difficult to get the power down on exit on the bottom line. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, you don't. Brandon Pasalacqua, he wants to be able to drift up towards the wall on an exit, and that's why he's eating up his tires the most right now. And I think Ryan's got that idea of, hey, I'll just hold him down there. Sometimes the fastest way around this track is not the low line, it's the high line, because you can keep a little bit more momentum. And unless Brandon can get around him, Brandon's got to pinch those corners, and that's eating up probably his left front tire a lot.
Yeah, and he is still not able to get by here. It looks like, he might get clear here if he gets the run on the front stretch. A little contact with the wall from Ryan Strunk. That helps out Brandon. And now Brandon up to 6th place. J.C. Evans is going to take advantage, and he gets clear of the 77.
Yeah, once like I said, you can see what I mean about clipping that wall. Strunk clipped that wall, and now he's having a little bit of probably handling problems. I mean, I don't even know when this stage is supposed to be over.
Of course, stage 2 does end on 115 to 116, so I do believe we're coming up on, if I'm not mistaken, 6 laps remaining in this stage. So it won't be long. And, of course, I wouldn't be surprised. You mentioned some guys having some issues with their steering being messed up from hitting the wall or hitting other objects. Kenny Powell going to be one that might end up coming down pit road to try to fix some of that.
Yeah, he's probably got 2 minutes worth of damage repair, and I don't know if your car is ever going to be the same. I came in, I just was in that accident and had a minute worth of required, and then I had some other adjustments that were about 4 minutes long, and I didn't do the other adjustments and went out there, and like I said, the steering wheel was about 90 degrees off, and you try to steer with it that way, and it just makes the handling absolutely crazy. You can't hit these corners. You've got to hit these corners high to low. You want to come in high and then cut it down low, and then when you're exiting you want to be low and then cut up towards the wall. Strunk's trying this low line right now, and it's not working for him.
Yeah, of course, he was running, on the bottom for the most part, and it looks like Randy Mullins is also going to get by him. Now moves up to the 8th place position. Kenny Powell also starting to be pressured by Cody Colley. I'll tell you what's been so impressive, though, about this race thus far is how green it's been. I mean, we have only seen the one caution, and unfortunately that affected you, Kendall LeVron, and, and of course a couple other drivers. But it's been so green as we're actually closing in quickly on the halfway point here. I do believe after the stage 2 we'll actually be hitting that halfway point. Here comes Cody Colley trying to get to the inside of the 24.
Yeah, that wreck with Kendall, I hope he's okay. I seen he took his car to the hauler, and I think he's probably in the infield care center right now, but I hope everything's going okay with him.
And you know what's so sad? I mean, I kind of mentioned it when I was in here by myself was, he's had a lot of bad luck. Kendall always just has just terrible luck. I mean, I remember you were here on the call with me last week at Pocono on the last lap incident with him and Brian Johnson. I mean, it's just heartbreaking to see, he put that whole race together. Had a top 10 easily last week, and unfortunately that didn't happen because he had an accident on the last lap.
But sometimes you gotta put your patient pants on. I scream that a lot, and you should practice what I preach. But definitely from the outside looking in, you gotta put your patient pants on, and when you do that, you come through the field like the 84 is right now.
Wow.
He's just patiently waiting for everybody to eat up their tires, and there's a wreck.
No, there's the yellow flag. That is actually the stage 2 end.
Oh, okay. That's
Shane Parrish, I got to give him a lot of credit. He just let 2 drivers go by him to get back on or get a lap back. Wasn't that nice of him? Before the caution came out, I do believe he let Frank Flores go by and Greg Newsom so that they could get their laps back. He had about a 2.5 second gap on Patrick Gitter, so he had enough that he could give it to him. Of course, Shane Parrish, of course, wins stage 2. Patrick Gitter, 2nd place. Chris Johnson, 3rd. Josh Schaffner, 4th. Brian Johnson, 5th. Brandon Passalacqua, 7th, or 6th, I should say. 7th, J.C. Evans. 8th, Randy Mullins. 9th, Ryan Strunk. And 10, Cody Kelley. With that, we're going to take a brief step away. We'll come back and we'll who do you want to talk to, Al? We'll figure it out when we come back.
Let's talk to Patrick.
All righty.
O'Reilly.
It's O-Rewards Member Appreciation Month at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Stop in today and check out store-wide savings plus earn double points on over 225 items. It's our way of saying thank you. If you're not already a member, sign up today during O-Rewards Member Appreciation Month. It's fast, easy, and free. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
All righty, we are back, ladies and gentlemen. I do believe we were going to talk to Patrick Gitter. Then during the break, we decided we were going to talk to Chris Johnson. Johnson just lost some spots on pit road. I do believe Al Kozlowski. Can you pull him in, Al, so we can talk to him?
Sure, give me 1 minute to get a hold of him.
I actually don't see him in this Discord, so we might have to talk to Patrick. Yeah, I don't see him in Discord. So, Al, you're standing by with Patrick Gitter.
Mr. Patrick, how you doing?
Gotcha, Al. Doing well. Hope you are.
Well, I had to park it. I met somebody by accident, so looking good out there. What do we got for Shane?
Man, I'm figuring it out. I'm playing with some pit stop adjustments to see if I can get it up there. It's the first race I've run here this week, so still figuring it out. But man, Shane's been fast. He's known as the long run guy, so I'm not surprised he's up here with these green flag runs.
Well, it's definitely going to be long run now. I mean, we've got we're going to put twice as many laps on these tires, and I expect you're going to be one that's going to be falling back and saving those tires so you can make a comeback on this one.
Yeah, man, I hope so. It's going to be interesting. I expect it to keep going green flag here. This league has been great. It provides great racing, great green flag runs, so I think we'll see more of that. Should be interesting to see what kind of strategies play out here.
Oh, I can't wait to see how loose these guys get coming on pit road. I know I was drastically loose. All right, buddy. I think you're going to go back green before we run out of time. You got anybody you want to thank?
Yeah, first off, you guys for doing the broadcast tonight. Shout out to Kenny and you and Brian for helping. EPI, Martin PC, C12 Design, and Team Conte. Got to thank those guys.
Gotcha, brother. A whole bunch of them. Well, congratulations. It's coming to you here probably in another 100 laps here. Just be patient and do what you do.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it. Thanks, fellas.
See you in a bit.
Alrighty,
you know, Brian, I
was
probably just
Patrick
cursed
Gitter.
him by telling we're going to see him in a little bit because, you know, I've got that track record of anybody I pick to win usually wrecks out. So I hope that doesn't stick with Patrick.
Well, I mean, you didn't necessarily say that he was going to win, so I think he's okay. You said you were going to talk to him, so you might be talking about talking to him on the podium.
Right. Might be even talking to him afterwards.
That's right. I mean, it doesn't necessarily mean he's going to win, but here comes the pace car down pit road. Shane Parrish going to be leading us to green once again, and there it is, green flag back out in the air as we start stage number 3. Over 120 laps we have here to do. It's Josh Schaffner putting a lot of pressure on the back end of that 21 right now. I think what's the biggest story is how many positions Chris Johnson lost. He's now back to 6th place. But I think the 99 has a fast enough car. I think he's going to get back up here to the podium.
Well, I think Chris's idea is to kind of be patient. He's a very patient person when it comes to this. Oh, yeah, you think you can do that all day long here if you feel like you're lucky enough. But it could be done.
And it definitely was done. Randy Mullins made a big pass on Ryan Strunk. Strunk all over the bumper of the back end of the 54, though, as it looks like everyone has really turned on. They've hit the go button.
It's way too early for this. These guys are going to be falling like a rock here in a little bit. Kenny Powell is coming through these corners like he's got some Brazilian tires underneath him.
Kenny Powell now side by side with Cody Colley for the 11th place position. I'm sure Powell probably made maybe got some of that damage fixed to correct the steering.
Looks like Strunk is back underneath. Where's that, Randy? And wants that position back here.
Yeah, Strunk has definitely been looking really good on the short runs. Randy Mullins has as well, though. I think both of these drivers very much belong in this top 10. I think it's just going to be a battle of egos in a lot of ways, and I think J.C. Evans probably has the best seat in the house for this battle. It looks like Randy Mullins not able to defend against the encroaching 77, so now J.C. Evans tries to get up to 8. J.C. Evans has been looking so good here today. Every day, every race we've seen him in, he just seems like he improves by leaps and bounds.
Yeah, I was just about to say the same thing. I mean, competitiveness, he brought it to the table. It's a whole different J.C. Evans than we had last season, that's for certain.
Yeah, I mean, he's getting top 10 after top 10. I mean, this guy's been getting good finishes. He's been getting it done. He's been getting some points. As you see Kenny Powell now side by side, I do believe, with I think Darren Mullins. Darren Mullins, of course, making his return. Glad to see him back in the series.
Absolutely. Welcome back, Darren. It's been a long time. I think he's been gone for like 6-7 races so far, and I really like Darren. I mean, everybody has a problem. No, I can't say everybody, but most people have a problem with him because he's a very competitive racer. I mean, he's very hard to pass, but that's a racer. I mean, if you want somebody to pull over and let you by, then take a trip to Walmart. This is your racing here. So you want him to be very competitive and hard to pass.
Yeah, he definitely is hard to pass, and, that's nothing wrong with that. I mean, he makes you work for it, and you don't want someone that's going to make it easy.
Yeah, that's the American way. You got to work for it.
That's right. Of course, you see the 77, Ryan Strunk, now working on the 99 of Chris Johnson. I'll tell you how important track position is. I think Chris Johnson will tell you how important it is, as he is, of course, falling back to now 6th place just because of a little bit of a bobble getting into his box. I mean, that one little second cost him, I do believe, 3 positions on the racetrack. And now, I mean, he's in the Richmond's a track you don't want to lose any spots.
Yeah, we just came off a track that was 55 miles an hour down pit road, and pit road speed here is 40. That's dramatically big change for us. I mean, to come down there and not get a speeding penalty, he did everything he could. I'd rather lose one or two spots on pit road than get a speeding penalty and have to drop to the end and lose 12.
Looks like the 77 has gotten by Chris Johnson, but it is not over yet. Johnson getting tight on the door of the 77 as they battle for 6th place. Strunk right now is in 6th, but for how long? I don't know. Chris Johnson's fairly rough and rowdy compared to the 77 as well. Both of these drivers very competitive, very aggressive. They are willing to do about anything to maintain track position.
You got to be careful with that Chris Johnson. He will Denny Hamlin your butt quickly. I mean,
and he will be doing it with a smile on his face. Here comes J.C. Evans to the inside of the 77. And, you know, Ryan is so fast. I got to give him so much credit. Ryan Strunk, really, really quick. But I think one lesson that driver has not ever really learned is how to save tire. It always seems like he's just, I got to go to the front now, but not, you know, doesn't really think about it that I need to save tire, that I need to be careful. And you know, challenging these guys and riding side by side for so long is not good for your tires.
Well, I tell you where that comes from. If I was a betting man, I'd almost say that Ryan Strunk had some involvement in dirt racing, because we don't have, I come from dirt racing, and there's not any saving the tires kind of concept. I mean, you actually kind of like a loose car, and it's all full bore. I mean, I can't save a tire to save my life. I mean, anytime we've got a race coming that's a save the tire situation, I'm in trouble.
So it sounds like he went to the Al Kozlowski School of Racing.
Yeah, that's probably it. You know, and that's another good thing about this racing and parking this thing is I didn't get to hit anybody really on my own accord. I wanted to push a couple people out of my way, and I'm trying to learn that patience thing they got going on.
Yeah, it's very difficult, I know, to be patient. But I mean, you definitely well, you got time. You can go ahead and get back out there and go wreck somebody, Al, if you want.
Yeah, but it won't be as fun. Not right now. I mean, these guys are doing a great job. I would hate to be the one to ruin it for them. I mean, you can't. If you watched any of the A Open races this week, this is unheard of to run 25 laps, 50 laps, you know, and only have one caution. Hell,
yeah, you're
by
seeing
now
12 cautions.
Yeah, exactly. You know, there was A Opens that have 15 cautions in them in 100 laps. You know, these guys are out here, and this is the top of the class. I mean, you got guys that are not only got mega talent here, but they've got a lot of patience and they're courteous to their competitors. You know.
No, 100%. No, I agree. I mean, this, I'd say ISCA is one of the best leagues you can join. It's some of the best racing on iRacing. These guys really, they just have more respect for each other than you expect. I mean, a lot of times you go into the A Opens, no one races each other very cleanly. There's not a whole lot of racing etiquette, but these guys always seem to have that racing etiquette. Now, I will say there is going to be some bumping heads. That's going to happen. It's going to happen. No matter what community you join, you're going to have some arguments and some wrecks. When you have guys that are this competitive, it's going to happen. But these guys somehow still provide some of the cleanest racing on the surface, and that's why I feel like I'm lucky to be able to call these races.
Yeah, it gets quite boring after a while. You know, they're making another left and another left. I mean, yeah, there's hardly any wrecking going on here. But each one of these drivers, I will say, has their favorite track that they're very fast at. I mean, week after week after week, we kind of see, you know, the Patrick Gitter, Shane Parrish, and Schaffner, and Pasalacqua, and Brian, and Chris Johnson. We kind of see all those guys running up front, and you think, oh, well, they're just like NASCAR. The top 15 are well-known names, and the rest of them you barely even hear of. You'll see some of these guys have road course, road courses, their forte. Some of them have super speedway, that's their forte. And you'll hear about them then. I mean, not everybody likes to push the brake. Not everybody likes to turn right. These guys all have different expertise, and I do not underestimate any of these guys for a top 10 or even a podium.
Yeah, not at all. I mean, I feel like there's some of these guys are better at other tracks, and and some guys are better at saving tires as well. I mean, Shane Parrish, he's one that has just been so good at saving tires. As we just saw, I do believe a pass for that 9th place position. Randy Mullins has moved back up into the 9th spot. J.C. Evans, I think, might be starting to struggle. I don't know if he hit the wall. Very easy to do so at this track, especially out of turn 2, I would say.
What's really shocking to me is to see Greg Carr back here in the back of the field at 13th. And then I believe that's his son, Alexander Carr, in 18th. Both those guys usually run pretty good. This must be one of those tracks that they really, they won't be sad when we leave it.
Speaking of leaving it, I'll tell you what, we got us a good track coming up next week, Al. I don't know if you know where we're going, but we're going to Michigan International Speedway, and that's a good track. That's a fun track right there. That 2-mile racetrack, high intensity, fast racing right there, and I'm excited. I'm excited for that one myself. You might catch me out on the racetrack, maybe not in ISCA, but
yeah, well, I'll be running it Thursday, and then probably sometimes Thursday night, early Friday morning, I'll be on my way to the track.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, I will be there all weekend.
How about that? Are you doing something with the Speedway Angels?
I am going to go there with one of my good friends, Bernard Pollard. I'm probably going to take my brother-in-law and sister-in-law and my little 9-year-old niece. He races go-karts right now, and she just got into it. It's her first season. And I kind of want to, show her that Danica Patrick kind of an atmosphere that if she just keeps going and puts her patient pants on and learns, she could end up there someday.
100%. Kenny Powell now making the pass for 7th place. He now is in the highest running position he's been all night. He just got by Ryan Strunk. Well, that's definitely good. You got to start him early. Yeah, that sounds like a really fun weekend, Al. I definitely am excited for you. Such a great racetrack for sure. And for you to be able to race in the virtual atmosphere and then go to the real track and watch those guys do it in real life, that's going to be a really, really fun thing to experience for sure. Hopefully you take plenty of pictures.
Well, usually, I go in there and I talk to some of the drivers that I know, and I try to give them the tips I learned on iRacing, and would you believe nobody listens to me? I can't figure that out for nothing.
I mean, you're the wise owl. Why don't they listen?
I know. I'm telling you, man. I know something here, but they got technology and these little fancy computers and that the pit crew and everything like that. That I think they listen to probably wisely enough more than me.
Well, maybe the one time they do listen to you, they find themselves winning the race, and then they're going to hire you then.
Well, I don't think my body's capable of doing that anymore.
Well, not hire you to race. I'm talking about hire you as an advisor.
Well, an advisor. I can do plenty of talking now. Don't get me wrong. I can tell you where to go and what to do.
Oh, I'm good at talking myself. Last couple times by, Chris Johnson has been the fastest car on the racetrack, even though he had that bobble and mistake on pit road. I do believe he is well on his way to maybe working his way back up into the top 3. If he could just get by Brandon Passalacqua and Josh Schaffner, I think he's well on his way. And, of course, I'll tell you, Patrick Gitter, I think, has made somewhat of an improvement on his race car. We talked to him, Al, and he mentioned that he had been trying to find that adjustment to keep up with Shane. And I think he might have found it. He's been actually staying at a relatively the same distance here lately. So, and crazy to know as well that this is his first race of the week. Usually Patrick Gitter runs like the first race of the week in a open competition. Here comes the 99. He makes it right by Passalacqua. I think Passalacqua kind of just let him go. He's like, there's
he
no
had a
point
bobble there. He had to let go of the gas. He kind of got loose on the rear end. And here, if you don't let go of that gas, and you try to throttle out of it, you're going to go completely around. That car will snap on you. So you got to let off the gas completely and then slowly get back into it. So those tires will, grab a hold of the concrete here, the asphalt. If you try to throttle up right away, it'll spin right out from underneath you because this track is very slick.
Yeah, very much so, and I think it's also very hot. Looking at the track temp, it's cooled down quite substantially. I know it was in the 120s. It's now down to 109, so that could be very much affecting, I'd say, the speeds these guys are hitting, maybe providing even a little bit more grip.
Yeah, I didn't realize this wasn't even a mile-long track. This is a 3/4 mile-long track.
That's right. Technically, it is a short track, and look at it. Look at this big battle right now. As the 54 of Randy Mullins trying to get by Ryan Strunk. J.C. Evans waiting in the wings. Also, Randy Belk knocking on the back door of the top 10 as we see a little bit of contact. The 54 into the 77. Battle not over at the moment for that 8th place position. J.C. Evans once again with the best seat in the house for this battle. Hopefully too good a seat. Or should I say it might be too good of a seat.
Well, I've never noticed on the hood of J.C. Evans, he's got the name of Braden McDonald, and it looks like he's it's a memorabilia thing he's got going on there.
I think, yeah, a memorial of...
a memorial, that's what I meant to say, yeah. That's a great thing right there.
And they are still battling right ahead of them. And look at that, a little bit of a wiggle there for the 54 off of turn 2. These guys are battling quite hard. And this has brought Randy Belk right here. I mean, Belk has caught up very fast because of these guys side by side. And here comes J.C. Evans now going to challenge the 77.
Yeah, J.C. got a little pushy there. He's getting impatient on that bottom line there. You may want to take it to the top, J.C., and cool those tires off because it's not going to steer right if you don't.
It's very difficult, like we mentioned before, to get the runs on the exits when you're on the bottom line. I mean, this is already a track that you really can't mash the throttle down. And, so when you're already on the bottom, you have to be even more gentle on that throttle. Of course, it's not an on and off switch. Oh, they're getting incredibly close to one another.
I can see this. This is going to end under caution here if one of them doesn't give. J.C. Evans is allowed 33 to pull his inside there. I tell you, they're going to be wrecking. J.C. his car is not handling the way he wants because he pushed it too much. And he's got the 33 out of control.
It's also brought Greg Carr into the picture as well. Carr goes up the track, or should I say Belk goes up the track, and that gives Greg Carr the 11th place position possibly.
This is causing all might have some kind of a fender rub or something causing his car not to want to turn properly. That could happen when you slide up like that.
Yeah, this is causing all sorts of issues. Here comes Mark Sanchez. Sanchez has already got some front end damage, but he is working his way back up through the field. And is now, I do believe, up to 13th. Oh, Belk into the rear end of the 29 and up into the outside wall.
Yeah, we got more. What did we last pit at? 115, something like that? We're talking about 50 laps on these tires. 40 laps, 50 laps. These guys are sliding everywhere. I'm surprised they're not pitting yet.
Yeah, 49 laps so far on their tires. And I do believe it won't be very long until we possibly could see some guys making some green flag stops. Of course, fuel, as I mentioned on the top of the broadcast, is about 120 so laps. You can make it about, I do believe 128 laps you can make it on gas. But I think these guys are going to be wanting tires before they want fuel.
Oh, yeah. Nobody likes driving on Jello. These tires get so soft. The handling goes away on the fronts, on the straightaways, and the handling really goes away on the corners. If somebody doesn't wreck here in a little bit, I expect to see 10, probably 15 laps. We're going to have somebody come in for the last pit stop.
Yeah, I think a lot of drivers might try to split it in half here. And I think that would be possibly in the next 15 or 20 laps. We'll have to wait and see what the consensus is going to be for everybody. I think there's a lot of wiggle room for the strategies in this race. So we could see all sorts of different, guys making different calls.
Looks like J.C. Evans is on the inside of somebody up here.
Ryan Strunk. I believe Ryan Strunk getting ready to lose a spot here. And Evans, of course, was battling with Strunk and for quite a bit there, finally got by him. And Greg Carr, we talked about him. You talked about him not having as great of a day as he could have. He's banging on the back door of the top 10 right now in that 25. I do believe he's in 11.
That's Mr. Save the Tires right there. Greg, I've seen him week after anytime we needed to save tires at a track. I can always expect to see Greg. I may pass him and feel like a superstar, and then 30 laps later, here he comes shooting right by me. He can save tires, and that's probably what he did. So he should be able to pass these guys.
I do want to give a shout out to Corey Darr, who liked our, I do believe, our stream on Facebook. Appreciate you, Corey. As Shane Parrish right now is in the lead. Patrick Gitter is in second place. Josh Schaffner sits in third. Fourth place, Chris Johnson. Fifth, Brandon Pasalacqua. Sixth, Brian Johnson. Seventh, Kenny Powell. Eighth, Randy Mullins. Ninth, J.C. Evans. And 10th, Ryan Strunk, as we're on lap 173, coming to 174. And Shane Parrish has been the dominator thus far here tonight. He has led a ton of laps and also has about almost 2 seconds of a lead at the moment.
He's got a 5-second lead in front of third place. I mean, so right now, I'm trying to think strategy. If I was Schaffner, Johnson, and Brandy Pasalacqua and Brian, would I pit? Probably not until Shane does. I'm probably going to ride this thing out and see if a caution comes out, because the longer these guys take on these tires, the more possibility there's going to be a clipping of the wall. You bounce off these walls. Anytime you hit these walls on the straights, you bounce off them. And if you don't throttle properly, you're going to spin around, and hopefully nobody's behind you, but you could cause a melee of mess.
And also, take a look. I mean, I've been looking at the lap times for Shane Parrish. He is 0.2 a lap faster than the rest of the field. Everybody else is about in the 23.7 range. Shane Parrish is hitting 23.5s, 23.4s. I mean, this guy is just so much faster than the rest of the field. I don't think anybody has any hope unless they pull some type of off-the-wall strategy out tonight.
Yeah, when you got a 2.5-second lead, there is not really a strategy that's going to work. I mean, I don't know how much pressure. I mean, you're talking about 0.2 of a second, maybe 0.3 of a second if you pit that you're going to gain. You're not going to gain seconds. So it doesn't really benefit you to pit. You just need to mimic his times. If you can stay a 10th off of his time, you'll be fine.
I mean, I think a short pit scenario could work. If you kind of pit ahead of him and maybe take advantage of the newer tires, you'll gain the time and you might jump in front of him. But whenever he decides to come down pit road and he has those fresher tires, he's just going to get right back around you again. So it's like you're kind of just up the creek. You're going to be. I think these guys are really going to be hoping for some sort of intervention, somewhat divine intervention. I'd say from the iRacing gods.
Well, I'm watching this battle here from Darren Mullins' point of view, that 64, and he's got 29 in front of him. He's got like 4 cars in front of him, and these guys are all over the track. I mean, I don't know what Darren's thinking. He's probably thinking to himself, what route do I go here? He's got Mark Sanchez, Cody Colley, Greg Carr, and Ryan Strunk all in front of him and doesn't know who's going to hit who and where they're going to end up.
And it looks like Ryan Strunk is kind of holding up a lot of these drivers. You see Greg Carr trying to get around Strunk. Also Cody Colley now side by side. This is just pretty much right in the top 10, or should I say just outside of the top 10. Ryan Strunk is at the moment in 10th. So, of course, here comes Cody Colley. He's going to be working his way up to 10th. He made that pass look fairly easy. Oh, Ryan Strunk into the outside wall on the front stretch. And it looks like, very close racing.
You come into these turns, Brian, you've got to check up and kind of brake early. You want to brake on a straightaway and kind of roll through the corners. A lot of these guys, in order to get around Strunk, are pushing their car into the corner and braking in the corner, and that's what's causing them to push up into him.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they really need to just prioritize the exit, I'd say, more than anything, right? Try to get the wrong exit to pass him.
Yep. That's where your speed's going to be. You got to be able to get on that throttle, because I imagine right now Ryan Strunk is running on some Bill Cosby Jello tires. You know, they're kind of flimsy.
Also, Randy Belk now under fire right now from Alexander Carr. Belk gets tight on the 18. Contact.
Yeah, that 33 has had that kind of a car all evening. He tries to make that move on the inside and can't make it. There's the 64 is coming onto pit road as we speak.
Yep, that is Darren Mullins.
That's Darren
He's making a green flag stop. I think this is the first green flag stop we've seen thus far. Let's see exactly what he does. I'm assuming he's taking tires here.
Yeah, his last lap speed was 31.905 before he came on pit road.
So definitely some big mistakes. Car not handling as well as it could be. Also, you know, all that battling that we've been seeing throughout this field, guess what that has allowed Shane Parrish to do? Catch up, and he's going to be putting these guys a lap down. He's getting ready to put them a lap down. This could help, in theory, Patrick Gitter if he has a lot of.
Strunk's coming on pit road.
There goes Strunk.
Strunk's on pit road. 25's on pit road. J.C. Evans on pit road. Everybody's pitting. We got Greg Carr's on pit road. As long as they can get out of the way of Shane Parrish's lap cars, looks like he's peeking on the inside of Greg Wychinski, and Greg is catching the wall quite a bit. He really loves that wall. I don't understand it.
Yeah,
Wychinski
almost
a relationship.
Yeah, I think they do. I think not a good one, not a healthy one either. I think he just kind of tried to get off the wall and almost hit Shane Parrish there. I bet Parrish, if he looked back at the replay and saw that, I bet he'd be quite terrified. As you see, Parrish has caught up to the back end of Randy Belk. You see Kenny Powell's coming off pit road. There's the 6 of Brandon Pasalacqua. Trying to stay, I do believe they are now, Pasalacqua trying to stay at least one lap down. If Parrish passes Pasalacqua, that will put him 2 laps down. Kenny Powell has gone 2 laps down. So we're on lap 189, coming to 190. Coming up very quickly to 60 laps to go, 61 to go next time by. When's Parrish coming in?
Oh, Parrish will come in like 5 laps. But Brandon Pasalacqua, if he can get about 5 seconds in front of Parrish, that could benefit him quite a bit. He could actually come out really close to Parrish. And here comes Kenny Powell with those new tires, feeling like Superman, and he's going to get one of his laps back.
Yep, that will put him 1 lap down, and that'll be good for him for sure.
Yeah, Parrish has got to come in here in the next couple laps. If he doesn't, these guys are they look like they're about a half a second faster, and that half a second doesn't seem like a whole lot. 0.3, it ain't a whole lot. A half a second to 0.7 of a second, that could be quite a bit. It looks like Shane Parrish is probably going to pit this time by.
Yeah, here he comes. Slowing down now, coming into pit road. This is going to be a big stop for Shane Parrish. Hopefully he did not speed. You see Kevin Zozniak, Alexander Carr as well, all on pit road. Here comes Patrick Gitter as well, that's coming down pit road. This is the race. I think that depending on this stop, depending on from here on out, this could be Shane Parrish's race to win or lose. He has pretty much dominated the event so far.
Yeah, it depends on how he gets off pit road here.
Ryan Johnson inherits the lead. Of course, he has yet to pit. Cody Colley as well has yet to pit. I do believe Randy Belk is also yet to pit. Those are the only 3 cars, I do believe, that have yet to pit thus far. And Shane Parrish, fantastic pit stop, comes out in 4th place. So even with Pasalacqua short pitting him, I do believe, well, let's see what, I don't know if we've seen exactly. Yeah, I think he is already in front of him. Did Pasalacqua possibly get a penalty?
I'm looking at Parrish right now. I'm trying to see if he should have got a penalty for that pit when he exited the way he exited, because it looks like, well, no, I guess he pulled that old trick where you hit the cone on your way out. He was at 41 miles an hour, and he hit the cone, but I don't think he got a penalty for that.
Yeah, I do not believe he did. As he is actually, I mean, even with those guys short pitting him, Al, he is still in the net lead. I mean, even with, I mean, you know, Brandon Pasalacqua and Chris Johnson, Josh Schaffner, all of those guys short pitted. They could have easily, with the lap times that they, I mean, like you said, they were a half a second or so faster. That just shows you how much of a lead that Parrish had on them. That it didn't even matter. He still is going to go up to the net lead.
Yeah, he's only roughly about 10 seconds behind Cody Colley and the 84 machine. What really could help those guys right now, I guess I could say would help them, is if a caution came out. But there's still 10 cars on the lead lap. I mean, Darren Mullins is a lap down, Greg Carr's a lap down, Ryan Shunk's a lap down. A lot of these guys are still laps down, but I think they have to. I think they might have to. No, Darren pitted already. I don't know how these guys got a lap down like that.
Could have been it definitely easily could have been possibly penalties. But then again, I mean, think about it. Darren Mullins, he was back, I do believe, in 16th, battling. And remember that Parrish caught up to the back of these guys before the pit stops. So, I mean, I don't think there's any really wonder that they're a lap down. Because, I mean, he was catching up to the rear of them when they, were battling. So, I mean, I think Parrish is just that good. I think we're going to be able to count it on one hand probably how many guys are going to be on the lead lap by the end of this race.
Yeah, it's just a matter of time here. It looks like we got Kenny Powell, Randy Mullins are the last two, 7th and 8th, and they're about 5 seconds from going a lap down.
You see Kenny Powell right now battling with Randy Mullins, and of course that's not going to help their case on going a lap down. Where side by side slows you down at a track like this. Cody Colley is still out, though. I can't believe that he is still out on this racetrack. He is in the lead right now, but will not be long until he actually gets past here as well. If caution comes out, that would be great for the 84.
Well, the weirdest thing, and I hate to say it and put this bug out there in the air, but do you think that they're thinking of a two-tire stop here?
I mean, maybe. I don't think that would be a really good idea at a track like this, like at Michigan, the track we're going to next week. Yes, that would be a great idea because I mean that's the type of track that you can get away with a two-tire stop. But I mean Richmond, notorious for tire wear, so I just don't know. I mean I would definitely need to see the statistics. I mean you've actually ran some time and have seen what the tires are doing.
I would think if you took lefts only, there's only two theories of staying out this long. Either A, you're waiting for a caution, which if a caution does come out, closer to the end of the race and you go in and get fresh tires, we already seen what fresh tires do to old tires. So unless the whole field comes down and gets fresh tires, you're going to have 2 or 3 drivers on 35 lap newer tires, and they possibly could walk through the field easily.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, I definitely think tires are big enough. But, I mean, I don't think we still have, I think, some tires to play with. I mean, keep in mind we've only had one caution based on an incident here. Now, I think Kenny Powell, didn't you say he at some point did take an off-strategy set of tires? So he might be a little bit more in a bad spot when it comes to how many tires does he have left. But I think for the most part, I think everybody else has a set left.
Some of them may have 2 sets.
Yeah, some of them may have 2, yeah.
Yeah, this is, there was 5 sets, 4 sets extra, so they may have, depends on if they didn't take any tires, but at least there's one more set dangling around there. And hell, I got 2 or 3 sets sitting in my pits if somebody wants to come and grab those.
I'm sure they will. And it looks like we do have now 12 drivers on the lead lap. I do believe Brian Johnson has actually unlapped himself here recently. And, of course, Mark Sanchez, now the first driver a lap down. So we're on lap 207, coming to 208 now.
Not too long ago, Brian, we were talking about Shane Parrish 12 seconds behind the leader. He has just taken the lead and put Shane Kiley 1.9 seconds behind him. While Patrick Gitter at the last cross of the line was 3 seconds behind Cody Kiley. So let's see how quickly the 84 machine drops back. I mean, I don't know what is. It may work. I mean, he may have a podium in his future here. I don't know.
Yeah, definitely be curious to see what he can do. I mean, he's trying to hold on the best he can right now. Only bad thing is even with the, a little bit of a lockup there for Frank Flores right in front of Collie. And that brings Patrick Gitter into the picture.
Yeah, Cody Kiley's got a pit right now. He is about 1.5 seconds off of the leader. So he's either really abused his tires, praying for a caution right now with 40 laps to go. Is it impossible? No, these guys all got fresh tires. But again, we're talking about the talent in this field. The only way a caution would come out is if somebody, tried to get out of the way of one of the lead lap cars and misjudged the corner and hit the wall and would come back down into the field. I can't see these guys, the way they're spaced out, really getting too aggressive and hitting the wall and spinning out. I think everybody's on cruise control right now, Brian.
I know one person who's not on cruise control, the 99 of Chris Johnson. He just made a pass on Josh Schaffner for the 4th place position. And, of course, he has now secured that spot and is up in that position. Of course, he should. I think Chris Johnson has a podium in his future. Even after that mistake on pit road, he fell back to 6th. He is now, he'll be getting by Cody Collie very soon, and he'll be up into 3rd.
I just figured out why Cody Kiley is dropping back and his speeds are extremely slow. Go on a cockpit run with him right quick, Brian. He is shifting.
He must be using a shifting sort of gear here.
4th to 5th, yeah. Back down to the 4th in the corners, so that's why he is slower. He's got the wrong gear in this car, and that's probably why he stayed out.
And that might be a way for him to maybe save a little bit more gas as well with a different gear ratio. I don't think it's going to work.
I don't think he can take it to the end. I mean, he's not going to get a podium. He's definitely going to have maybe a top 10 maybe, but he's going to get passed by these guys. I bet you if there's no more cautions coming out, he'll be a 12th place car all day long.
And you see right there, J.C. Evans is going to be getting by, and I think Evans actually did get a speeding penalty, and he is actually now 2 laps down in 20th place, even though he's ran in the top 10 pretty much all day long. Kenny Powell, though, and Randy Mullins do get by Collie, and now I do believe Randy Mullins now up to 5th, Kenny Powell in 6th. So not a bad day for Kenny Powell, considering I do believe you mentioned earlier he does have some damage, so it looks like he has been making it work, though.
Yeah, he's got that super fast, really smart pit crew there that probably took care of everything for him to make his car back competitive.
100%. You see J.C. Evans goes wide to let the 54 and the 24 by. Now on lap 218. Coming up to 32 laps to go here. I think now will be a great time. Let's take a quick commercial break. See exactly, we'll give a little bit of time to rest our voices. We'll be right back with the conclusion of the O'Reilly's 250 at Richmond.
Hey everybody, my name is Warren Maddox. I am the president of Ultimate Experience Outdoors. Our mission, we are dedicated to taking veterans, first responders, youth, and Gold Star family members on outdoor excursions across the country.
Support for our mission has many forms, from camp cooks to the great storytellers, some buddies with the band, maybe you just want to build a campfire and sit around and listen. Nothing goes unnoticed.
Camaraderie is reborn. The acceptance among the men and women that took an oath.
Whether it was decades ago or recently renewed, but never forgotten.
If you feel like you could help us, please visit our website, www.uxonation.org.
There, you can register to hunt, sign up to sponsor an event, or even donate to us so we can continue to execute our mission.
Oh my gosh, I feel comfortable, bro. We get a hug, man. What have you done, Jim?
We need your help to hold the line once again.
It's O Rewards Member Appreciation Month at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Stop in today and check out store-wide savings plus earn double points on over 225 items. It's our way of saying thank you. If you're not already a member, sign up today during O Rewards Member Appreciation Month. It's fast, easy, and free. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better prices every day.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
And we are back. Ladies and gentlemen, appreciate y'all giving us the time to rest our voices a little bit. Of course, you didn't miss very much. Shane Parrish still dominating the races. He's got about a 6-second lead on Patrick Gitter. He actually just recently put Ryan Strunk a lap down and is quickly catching the back of Cody Colley to put him a lap down. That would leave 8 drivers on the lead lap. Of course, Brian Johnson at the moment is faster than Parrish. He is on fresher tires, so I do expect he probably won't go a lap down. Could happen though. We'll have to wait and see. But so far, I do believe we're going to end up having 8 drivers on the lead lap. Coming up quickly as well, to 21 laps to go. And what a race we have seen so far. We were just talking about it under the commercial, Al, how clean this thing has been. I mean, it's you go to you race in the NIS, you race in the A Open, you expect to see caution after caution. But, man, these guys it's almost too clean, you know?
Yeah, they probably, some of these guys in here probably set their car up for a short run here, expecting a lot of cautions like the A Open. And that's why we see these times falling, is because this ain't no A Open.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely a lot of lap traffic these guys are having to deal with, I know, or Shane Parrish at least.
I was watching a cockpit, Brian, with Shane Parrish's car. It's like he's just phenomenal. There's very little steering wheel input. I mean, he's got this thing on rails tonight.
Yeah, and he always does seem to just have it on rails. I mean, even Patrick Gitter, when you have a guy like Patrick Gitter that says, oh, yeah, he's the best in this series at the long run, you know it's true. I mean, Patrick is one of the best on the service as it is himself. And when you get respect from someone like that, I mean, people notice that. So I think Shane, I think this is going to be his night. I don't want to jinx it, but I feel like, I mean, the way he's running this race so far, I mean, it's his to lose. He has got even if it's not, I think EPI has a really good setup tonight, and I also think that there's a really good driver behind that 66 wheel. I think he drives so patiently. Even with the setup he has, you even said it through the cockpit. I mean, you're watching his inputs, he's just so smooth.
Yeah, and I've argued this with many people. There's so many setup shops out there, and EPI, Reaper, TWRS, they all have got great setups, right, for the right driver. You're not going to be able to go off, and you can buy, everybody in the field could be running an EPI setup right now and not have the same success that Shane Parrish is, because you've got to adjust these setups for the driver. I mean, everybody's got a different driving style. I mean, he's probably hitting the marks different than I would. You know, I could get in the EPI and look like it's just a garbage setup, and I may even say, this is terrible. It's not a terrible setup. It's just not for a specific driver like myself. Different driving styles. So kudos go out to EPI. I know that we've got probably 4 or 5 different setup shops in here. We do have some drivers, probably Shane Parrish is one of them, that kind of tweaks their setups to fit their driving style. And it's working for them.
100%. Yeah, a lot of drivers do. A lot of drivers do tweak their setups. They do. I mean, not like you said, it drives different for everybody. And EPI definitely has been very, very strong here, I'd say, in the ISCA as well. And I'm telling you, I mean, it's just been a whole bunch of 1-2, 1-2-3s for EPI here lately. And I know a lot of these drivers out here that are running are getting a little tired of that. I mean, and I think that, hey, that's a good thing, though, because it pushes everybody else to be better, right? I mean, if you want to be better, you got to go up there and beat them. You know, this is straight up racing here in the ISCA. You get to see who's got the best long run.
Well, you know, next week is Michigan. Not quite a super speedway, but no short track like this. And we're going to see a lot of drivers that are going to come and shock some folks next week. I can believe that.
100%. Michigan is a very good track when it comes to, you know, it is kind of like a super speedway, but then again, it also has that tire thing. You know, tires do matter at Michigan. I mean, you could drive it really hard for like 15 laps at Michigan, but eventually, how you treat those tires in the beginning is going to catch up to you later, and I think that's going to be a big deal. And knowing how clean this series is, I think we're going to see who's going to bring their best next week. That's for sure.
Yeah, most definitely. A lot of these guys are going to want to start practicing Sunday. Find a hosted race or host one yourself, and everybody get together and practice for Michigan, because you just can't get on Thursday and run Michigan's race and be very competitive.
Yeah, that's
you gotta
a track.
Practice more than once. Yeah, more than an hour.
Yeah, that's definitely a track. I mean, you can jump in and race, but you're not going to be able to stand with the big boys in this series without practicing. Especially, you know, at a track like that. I mean, it is very much a skill-based track. You know, there's not a whole lot of marks at a track like Michigan.
No, that's a very unique little platform right there. And I myself, I'm going to try to struggle through the pain here and run at least, you know, 500 to 750 laps before Thursday. I've lately, since February, I've just been racing Thursday. I get an hour's worth of practice, and it shows. I mean, my abilities have fallen dramatically from what I'm accustomed to and what people see from me. I mean, it's all because I don't have time to practice, time or the ability. My back is pretty messed up from an automobile accident, so I don't have time to sit here. I sit here and I can talk to you for a little bit, but in a little bit I'll have to check out.
No, I definitely appreciate your help, and hopefully, you know, things get better for you. You continue to heal and recover. You know, also, you know, once again, I know I said it at the top of the broadcast. I want to wish Big Al as well to get better. I know that he I do believe has been having some health issues, and I definitely want everyone to keep him in their thoughts and prayers for sure. I know that miss having Big Al in here. Can't have that out. Big Al karaoke. Of course, I do appreciate you stepping in and helping out. It's quite difficult to sit in here by myself and talk, but I mean, I'm good at it. I'll talk. Don't you worry.
I'm no Big Al, but I definitely I second that, and I do miss him, and I hope everything's going well. And that ingrown toenail he's got, it gets better.
It's not what it is. I don't think that's what it is. He's gonna be showing up right now. You lying about me?
Yeah. Hey, if that don't get him to come in, nothing will.
That's right. Here we go, though. 4 laps to go. Coming up to 3 to go. Shane Parrish now getting by J.C. Evans again now. That puts, I do believe, Evans 3 laps down. And Shane Parrish has almost 8 seconds on Patrick Gitter. What a race from this driver. Only 8 drivers still remaining on the lead lap. I think I saw some smoke. I'm wondering what happened there. Looks like somebody, I hope we don't have a caution. We're getting really close to the end of this thing. Definitely saw some smoke out in front of Shane Parrish. I think it might have came from Randy Belk here. Belk kind of slowing down a little bit.
I can't believe that Brandon Pasalacqua is about to go a lap down. We better get this thing over with. He's not been a lap down.
And also, Brian Johnson's getting ready to go a lap down. As you see, Parrish gets by Belk. And here we go. White flag is out here at Richmond Raceway. The final lap for Shane Parrish. Next flag is going to end it no matter what. As you see Cody Colley slow on the bottom here. And here we go. Shane Parrish is going to win his first race in ISCA competition. I knew it was going to happen eventually, and it happens tonight. The 66 in victory lane. And what a dominant performance here from that 66 machine, beating the likes of Patrick Gitter, which is not an easy accomplishment in the slightest. You know he's got to be feeling proud about this one as he comes to the front stretch to celebrate this victory.
Well, look at Shane. Shane wins the race, but he gives the congratulations to Patrick Gitter. Said his wife just had a baby on Saturday. Not even a week-old baby. So congratulations, Patrick.
100%. Definitely a big congratulations to Patrick Gitter for that bundle of joy being brought into his life. And I'm sure it looks like we're going to see us a dual burnout possibly from Patrick Gitter and Shane Parrish. As Parrish gets the win, and of course Patrick Gitter gets the win of a baby.
Absolutely. And he came in second place. I mean, that's nothing to sneeze at. We got Shane Parrish
when you have a baby, you come in second place after that, don't you?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. There's a lot of number 2s with a baby.
That's right. When you have a baby, you're not number 1 anymore.
No, sir. All right, let's take the rundown here real quick. We got Shane Parrish comes home with the win. Patrick Gitter in second place. Chris Johnson third. Josh Schaffner fourth. Randy Mullins fifth. Kenny Powell comes in sixth. Brandon Pasalacqua seventh. And the last car on the lead lap is Brian Johnson in eighth. Ryan Strunk comes home ninth. And Greg Carr rounds out the top 10.
11th place, Mark Sanchez. 12th, Darren Mullins. 13th, Greg Wachinski. 14th, Alexander Carr. 15th, Randy Belk. 16th, Greg Newsom. 17th, Kevin Zaziak. 18th, Frank Flores. 19th, Cody Colley. Rounding out the top 20 is J.C. Evans. And, of course, rounding out this 23-car field is yours truly, Al Keselowski, or should I say Al Keselowski in the booth here with us. Kendall Vaughn in 22nd, heartbreaker for him. Paul Olson in 23rd. With that, we're going to take another brief step away. We'll be right back with our top 3 finishers.
Hey everybody, my name is Warren Maddox. I am the president of Ultimate Experience Outdoors. Our mission, we are dedicated to taking veterans, first responders, youth, and Gold Star family members on outdoor excursions across the country.
Support for our mission has many forms, from camp cooks to the great storytellers, some buddies with the band, maybe you just want to build a campfire and sit around and listen. Nothing goes unnoticed.
Camaraderie is reborn. The acceptance among the men and women that took an oath.
Whether it was decades ago or recently renewed, but never forgotten.
If you feel like you could help us, please visit our website, www.uxonation.org.
There, you can register to hunt, sign up to sponsor an event, or even donate to us so we can continue to execute our mission.
Oh my gosh, I feel comfortable, bro. We get a hug, man. What have you done, Jim?
We need your help to hold the line once again.
O'Reilly.
It's O Rewards Member Appreciation Month at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Stop in today and check out store-wide savings plus earn double points on over 225 items. It's our way of saying thank you. If you're not already a member, sign up today during O Rewards Member Appreciation Month. It's fast, easy, and free. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better prices every day.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and definitely an exciting race here today at Richmond Raceway. Of course, we're going to be joining the booth by our third place finisher, and definitely earned that third place and had probably one of the fastest cars out there. I think you might have even had something for Patrick Gitter. Chris Johnson, man, really good job here tonight. I mean, you started in fifth, you finished third. How was the car feeling?
Thanks to TWRS, it was fabulous. Yeah, I definitely felt like I had a top three car. I don't know if I had anything for Shane, but it was fun battling Patrick there for a little bit.
Well, I know also you had a little bit of a mistake, I'd say, on pit road. I do believe that was at the end of stage two, to where you didn't stop completely in your box and then had to, kind of hit the gas to get into your box. And it cost you a few spots. Do you think that's what kind of kept you from battling with Patrick again?
Most definitely. Yeah, I guess my pit crew forgot to jump over the wall. No, I was too far back and I wasn't getting a notification, so yeah, I lost 3 or 4 spots right there. But even still, I don't know. Patrick was so freaking tough. The only way to really pass him was probably spin him out, and I wasn't going to do that.
Well, that's good that you wasn't going to do that. I mean, you might have had to give him some Southern Spiral pipe after that if you did spin him out for his wrecked race car. But, definitely some good, clean racing. Seemed like you had a really good race car. What kind of preparation did you put in tonight? I mean, over the week. I mean, did you put a lot of laps in?
I put about 500 laps in.
Wow.
Just testing. Just seeing how the car feels. Watching the officials, the NIS. Seeing what the leaders, top split guys were running, what they're doing. I did a lot of testing this week.
Well, it definitely seemed like it paid off. I mean, a good third place finish. I mean, you outran your brother, you outran Josh Schaffner, you outran pretty much everybody but Shane Parrish and Patrick Gitter. So definitely some good points for you. Of course, next week, I think it's going to be another track that suits you fairly well. I think you're pretty good at Michigan. Is that right?
Yeah, always a pleasure going to Michigan. Michigan is really fun. Even with the new package, it's kind of draft heavy now, but hopefully we could get some long runs and it kind of stretch out.
Yeah, definitely a track that still, you have to worry about the tire wear at that track. We're definitely looking forward to seeing what you got in store for us in that 99 Southern Spiral Pipe Ford there. I do like the new paint scheme as well. Got to give it a shout out. It's definitely pretty sharp. Who can we give a shout out to after your third place finish here tonight, Chris?
Of course, the guys at TWRS, Kenny, all the guys at G&G, Josh, Brian, and you up in the booth, and all the people that make ISCA go.
All righty. Well, thank you for making it exciting. We were watching that 99 the whole race to see what that what Chris Johnson could do out there on the track. We definitely hopefully can keep that momentum going forward. Chris, thanks for your time. We'll see you next time.
Thank you, sir.
That was Chris Johnson, driver of the 99 machine. We'll see him next week. Definitely a great run for him. Next up, we're going to be talking to the 21, who's in second place, and Shane Parrish in first. How about that, Patrick? I mean, and we owe you a big congratulations, Patrick. Heard that you just brought a bundle of joy into the world.
Yeah, Brian, that's right. I appreciate it. My wife and I welcomed our first son into the family last weekend. So it's been a busy week at the Gooder household. Tonight was really the first full race run I'd had a chance to jump in and run these cars, but did a little bit of practice here and there. Um, it was a good race. Green flag. Chris and I had some really good battles side by side, respectful racing. Some strategy on who was going to lay up and conserve or run hard. So just enjoyed it. All around a great race.
Now, how hard is it to prepare for a race that goes this green? I mean, I know that. Well, I mean, you I guess maybe you might not be the one to ask, considering you haven't raced all week. But I mean, usually I know that this week, I think from probably all your teammates you've talked to, A Open has been fairly caution filled, has it not?
Uh, from what I understand, it has. I mean, it seems like the past few weeks, there's been a ton of cautions and officials. I just remember running. I think we were at Richmond last season in officials, or in officials. And you could about be guaranteed at least a handful of cautions. So it is refreshing to come to leagues like this where you get those green flag runs. And I don't know. I mean, you just got to kind of have to plan. You got to back up your times a tenth or two over the entirety of the run just to make sure you can make it to the end and not be like wrecking loose. Just depending on what kind of car you've got.
Now, what do you think you could? I know you were working on the car. We kind of talked to you. I know Al Kozlowski talked to you a little bit, and you said you were working on the car to try to get kind of caught up with Shane. Do you think you? Was there any more that you could do? Possibly, maybe. What would it have taken to get up there to him?
Uh, I honestly seat time. Shane puts in a lot of practice every week, and he's got his lines nailed this week. And not only is it seat time, but I mean, Shane's just a talent as it is, especially in the long run. So I mean, even if I did have as much seat time as him, there's no guarantee I could have caught him anyway. He's just a fast driver. Just kind of what it boils down to. So I don't know. There's still some work to do on my side, just both with seat time and some adjustments and maybe a gear change, tire pressure adjustments, and maybe a couple other things in the mix.
100%, definitely a tough track for sure. Just to be jumping in. I know you didn't have a lot of time to prepare because I mean you had to. We were just kind of joking about it before we actually started the interviews, but you finished second place, and now in life, your priorities are kind of now your second place, right? Like to where, the child is first now. So I guess this is kind of like a symbol of that in a lot of ways. But still great job to you, Patrick. Of course, Michigan's going to be coming up next week. How do you feel about that racetrack? Hopefully, you're going to be getting back to somewhat of a normal preparation. I'd say, kind of procedure, right?
Yeah, I think so. At least I hope so. I like Michigan a lot just because it's similar to Auto Club and that it's large track, I think 2 mile track like Auto Club. But you've got multiple lanes. You've got to, prepare for the long run. I really like those kind of tracks, so I'm looking forward to next week for sure.
Oh, we definitely looking forward to it too. I think that's going to be an action-packed show. Patrick, of course, who can we give a shout out to after your second place finish here tonight? And of course, I do believe you still are the current Cup Series points leader.
Yeah. First off to you guys. I know I say it every week, but you guys do an outstanding job with both the broadcast and then just working with Kenny. Kenny running the ISCA league. Tonight's a testament to the kind of racing you get. You get some side-by-side racing. You get green flag runs. It's awesome. Shout out to Elite Performance Industries. I've got a great set this week. Team Conti that helps build those for him, and then C12 Design Shop and Martin PC and my teammates. For sure, we had a lot of just kind of chatter this week about what we needed to do to kind of tweak the car here and there. So it really is a team effort over at EPI, and I think it showed tonight.
Definitely, you guys showed up with a really good race car for sure. Big shout out to everybody over there at EPI. You guys put a lot of work in, and definitely love to see the competition here in this series. Thanks for your time, Patrick, and we'll see you next week.
Yes, sir. Thanks, fellas.
Alrighty, that was Patrick Gitter, driver of the 21 machine. Definitely fantastic performance. Next up, though, of course, really big deal when someone has a baby, but it's also a really big deal when someone wins their first race in the ISCA. He led 201 laps today, started in 4th place. No one had anything for you, Shane. I mean, you finished with over 8 seconds on Patrick Gitter. That's not something that is easily done. How do you feel?
Speechless, really. I mean, just feel awesome. Mr. Conti told me one day things will come together and you'll have the race of your life. Well, I'd have to say this has probably been the race of my life tonight. Just hats off to EPI and the whole team. Hey, Big Al, I don't know where you are, but 66, it's in the lane for you.
Oh, he's gonna absolutely love that. He's actually, I do believe, having some health issues. It's just I do believe being released from the hospital sometime today or very soon. So I know he's going to love to see that for sure. And we definitely wish him all the best. I know I do. I can't stand him not being here and not singing. It usually gets on my nerves when he does it, but I still love him.
Absolutely. I want to wish the best for him, his family, everybody that's involved. It's a very stressing time for him. So, all the prayers out to him and his family. Get better soon.
That's right. I mean, but back to you, preparation. I know Patrick said that you always kind of spend a lot of time, and I think you've always said that as well. That you always put a lot of time in, getting the lines down and everything. What was this week like? I mean, was there anything different that you did this week compared to other weeks?
Yeah, I probably put in 10 full races, 130 laps, maybe 15 in AIs racing, and not including, probably the other 1,000 laps I put in just practicing, when I got time or felt like doing it. So I probably easily got over 2,000 laps here this week, which is a lot, but paid off when I finally hit the line and made some adjustments this afternoon. The car just came alive. It was just unbelievable. And the adjustments at EPI and the guys all week long, I just kept, leaning on Conti in his ear and private messaging, man, this thing's just not where we need it to be. We need better, better, better. And they all worked on it and got it better. Then the team came together, and then I just put out my stuff tonight. So hopefully EPI will win some more official races this week.
That's right. Definitely great to see that you'll passing on what you've all figured out. That's a good identifier of a really great team. So definitely a lot of respect for those guys over there at EPI, and glad that you found a good home for yourself, and it definitely seems to be paying off. I mean, man, to get your first win here in the ISCA, and maybe you could speak to some of the effect of how hard it is to win one of these races. I mean, this is ISCA's. There's a lot of talented drivers in this series. You don't just win one of these races easily.
No, you don't. There's a ton of talent, Now we got to look forward to Gitter's son coming up here in another 5 to 6 years when he puts him in the seat, see how good he's going to be now. That'll be funny to see. But no, it's everybody here, Chris, Josh, there's so many good, talented drivers, Brandon, Brian Johnson, you just never know when some of them's going to make just that right adjustment on pit road. and the weather's going to change just right for the car at the end. And that, for me, at the end, my car was tight. Track cooled down, didn't really like it as well, wasn't running the pace I wanted. You know, you get down to that last 30 laps and you just can't, I couldn't feel the car. I was just getting bent out of shape. It's like, man, I can't feel what it was doing 20 laps ago. You're just getting so excited, heart's pumping, and feels like it's going up out of your chest. But got it back under control and started getting the lap times back where they needed to be and fired back off after about 10 laps of craziness.
Yeah, you definitely had to deal with your fair share of lap traffic as well. I know that that was probably scary having to deal with all that. I mean, a lot of them were racing side by side ahead of you. Some of them hit the wall near you. So, you know, a lot of times, especially a track like this, it all can come undone just with a lap car.
It really can, but I have to give the hats off to everybody tonight, whether they were lap car or not a lap car. It seemed like there was just a lot of give and take, and that's what it takes. And that's what a good league that Kenny's put together. People are giving and taking, and there's a time you're not going to, of course, but very respectful all night from what I seen, even, you know, up in front of me when I was coming or behind me racing. Good, clean racing all night from my windshield mirror. And I really respect that. I really respect Kenny and what he's done here. It's been a great thing. And I just want to say one thing, you know, if any of you can donate to the league a little bit extra for Kenny and to help out, you know, Brian, Big Al, and those guys up in the booth, it doesn't matter if it's $5, $10, every little bit helps when you can to help keep leagues like this alive.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. Of course, next week we're going to be heading to Michigan, Shane. I mean, you get you a win. A lot of times when you win in a series like this, the wins keep coming. Do you think that's going to be the case at Michigan?
Man, probably not at Michigan. I mean, I haven't been there a whole lot. I haven't had any laps on it yet. Usually I'm Wednesday night training with Conti, but it got moved to Saturday, so I'm going to be quite off, and I don't want to go out and start something bad with at the beginning. So I'll just wait until Saturday and put some laps in Saturday and Sunday, and hopefully come out next week and be a top 10 contender. I think we have it in us. We'll just see what EPI has with the car next week and go from there. The big tracks and that momentum tracks just aren't my kind of driving style. Never really have been. So, been working on it with Conti. We'll see how it turns out.
100%. Well, I'm sure you'll be able to use that momentum and probably some new confidence as well. But who can we give a shout out to, Shane, after this big win? First win in the ISCA.
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to you guys up in the booth. I always really enjoy watching it afterwards, later in the week or whenever drinking a beer. Might watch it a couple times, no matter where I finish. If I didn't race, I still love watching y'all. Y'all up there just do a great job commentating and do what you do. Thanks to Kenny again. Big congratulations to Patrick with the baby, him and his family. Just I know how excited he's got to be with, especially being the first boy. And I want to give a shout out to all EPI this week. I mean, we had so much going on our open channel about the set and what to do and how everybody helped, and Conti getting in with the team Conti and working with the guys and getting this thing where it needed to be. You know, it took 3 days to get it there from the release from what our competitors had. And now I think we're right up there with everybody, and we could be a good contender.
100%. Definitely glad you guys were willing to get down and dirty and work on it, because a lot of times I know a lot of times you build a setup and you release it, you just kind of stick with it and you don't really improve it. But you guys definitely try to do that the best you can, and definitely a lot of respect for that coming from myself, Shane. But congratulations once again on the victory. We'll see you next week at Michigan, brother.
Yep, just want to give a big shout out to my wife if she's watching or not. You know, she lets me practice a lot more than she probably should. So I just got to give her a lot of credit of being patient with me and let me do it. And then she says, "Hey, at least I know where you are. You're at home." So I guess I got something going for me.
There you go. Make sure you shout. Yeah, I know you about forgot to shout her out, so you better be glad you did, because
absolutely
might have been in the doghouse tonight. Like, you might have won the race, but you sleeping on the couch.
I think I'll give the race back. I want to go back to bed.
That's right. Well, thanks for your time, Shane.
Y'all have a great night. Got a job early in the morning, so I got to get there. But y'all have a great night. Thanks again for everybody for running clean and long and green.
All righty, that was Shane Parrish, driver of the 66, wins his first race in ISCA competition. Definitely a great job to him. Congratulations once again to Patrick Gitter for him having his baby. Of course, also big congratulations to Chris Johnson for having a really good race here tonight. And everybody deserves definitely a good clap on the back just from how clean they've been. I mean, we only had one caution based on an incident here tonight, and unfortunately, that caution was very tragic. Kendall LeBron, of course, definitely hit the wall very hard. Got hit, I do believe, by 3 separate race cars. So definitely not a bad or a pretty bad night for him. If he's out there listening, sorry, Kendall. Hate that for you. Don't give up. But definitely great race for everybody else out there. And we definitely appreciate it. I do want to say once again, shout out to Big Al. Hopefully everything's going all right with you. Hopefully we'll see you next week at Michigan. I know that's one that I don't think Big Al's going to want to miss, and hopefully he's ready and willing to call some racing here with us. Definitely appreciate everybody out there once again watching as well. I know we had a couple likes and a couple followers tonight. Big shout out to you guys. Of course, we love doing it. We're doing it for you, and of course, all the friends and families of the drivers that watch out there. If you maybe find yourself wanting to join the ISCA, definitely we'd love to have you. Love to call your name. The ISCA, some of the cleanest racing on the iRacing service. Just look us up, iRacing Stock Car Association, on the league directory of course, iRacing. You can also find us on Facebook. Reach out to us, of course, apply on iRacing. We'd love to have you for sure. But on that note, we'll, of course, be drawing ourselves to the conclusion of tonight's broadcast. Make sure to tune in next week at Michigan, 9:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is when the broadcast will begin. Of course, the race itself will go green a little bit after 9:30. We hope to see you there, and see you next time, ladies and gentlemen. This has been the ISCA Stock Car, or I should say the ISCA Super Cup Series. We'll see you next time.